Should we get started?
Nah, let's just keep talking about this.
Okay.
At least we're kind of agreeing. I don't want to argue about Superman yet. The movie's not even out.
I don't think we're going to argue that much.
I think we are because just on that little clip I showed you, I feel like...
I really don't think we are, but we'll see. We're arguing about whether or not we're going to argue right now.
And I'd still rather do that.
All right, let's start.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to...
Goodbye.
All right. That was a quick one. Welcome to episode 13 of Screen Woven. I'm Chris. This is Daniel, and we are here to be your movie news guides, your co-hosts, your anchors, if you will, on the fantasy. You didn't like that?
No. Why are they called anchors? When you said
Talking
that,
about on like the news?
yeah, when you said that,
Because they hold it down. Like they...
Oh, I guess that's fair. Yeah.
They come back to...
Do you think if they ever
That was such a stretch. I can't believe he bought that.
I think that might actually be what it is. Like they're the ones they're the glue that holds the show together, you know? I think that might be what it is.
It may be.
But do you think if they had like a bring your kids to work day and one of them had a baby, that would be an anchor baby? Do you not know what an anchor baby is?
Oh. I was like, I guess?
I'm surprised you've never heard that term.
I don't know what that...
It's a political term.
Oh.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It's like if an illegal comes into a country and has a baby, that baby is like a citizen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I got you. Then yeah. Sure. Why not? But yeah, so we, nothing super in particular today. This one's a little more...
Actually, Superman we're talking about.
It's true.
So yeah, super.
Kind of a general news type of show, type of episode. I got like a trivia-esque-ish thing that I kind of want to run through with you. I just think it'd be kind of fun. I think so. You might start it and be like, this isn't fun at all. I hate this.
That's probably
Let me out of here. Why do you keep trapping me in this room every couple of weeks to put me on camera? Anyway, that's just me projecting. But no, yeah, we got a clip from the Superman movie, which is we're like a week away, 2 weeks,
a little bit, yeah,
week and a half,
which we are going to be seeing in theaters on release day, and we will have a review ready for you.
Yes, very, very, very excited about that.
Oh yeah,
and Fantastic Four.
That's right.
I think that's
Same
opening
day.
weekend. No, I wish
we're doing both at the
Talk
same time.
about an awesome day. I would spend 6 hours in a theater for that. Yeah, no, I think we got opening weekend to both, so I'm really excited. We're getting so close. It's just been a really fun time of year, man. South Carolina's on a recruiting heater. Just got another commit last night. I'm loving it. I told y'all you're gonna hear it in August. But anyway, so where do you want to start? You want to start with Kreese being a sicko in real life? You want to start with the Superman clip? Do you want to run through the trivia thing first, kind of get warmed up since it kind of touches on a lot of different things?
Let's talk about the Kreese thing.
Okay.
Martin Kove.
Yes. So notable Karate Kid / Cobra Kai star Martin Kove, who played Kreese, recently got into a bit of an altercation at a fan event or convention or something with, I guess it said, that girl's in Cobra Kai, I guess?
Yeah, she's definitely in the last season. I think she's in the last 2 seasons.
Okay. So
what season are you on now?
I'm on 3. I haven't started it yet because we were talking about the Karate Kid movies, and since we talked about the third one, I haven't gone back to start Cobra Kai again yet. So I guess this girl, she's on the show later seasons. I haven't met her yet. And she, I guess, got bitten on the arm by Martin Kove.
So
it's not funny, but
It's a little bit funny.
It's wild.
I mean, okay, here's my take. Based off of what you showed me. You showed me a little news clip from it. I had seen it on Twitter, but I didn't really look into it. And I was just like, that's kind of weird. Why would he bite someone? But, okay, here's the weird things about that news clip that I saw. They, like, had her standing with her arm out, and they, like, zoomed in on her arm as if to show the damage. And I didn't see anything. Like, I could see maybe some slight discoloration, but I don't know if that was actually a bruise or not. Like, they were kind of, it seemed like they were making it out to be like he, like, zombie chewed her arm or something. So
I took it as more like he was really trying to downplay what happened because he kept saying, we're playful, like we're on set, like we have a good time, we're playful. And they were trying to tell him, like, first of all, no, dude, I don't know you like that. And second of all, even if I did, like, this isn't playful, like you left a mark on my arm. Now, two things on that. I will say, I've seen two versions of this video. The one that I showed you, and then one on Twitter that was a little bit of a different cut because it wasn't from a news clip. It was straight up the footage from that guy's phone.
Oh, where he bit her? Like the footage
I haven't seen the footage of him biting her. I'm saying the footage that they clipped up for that news clip.
Yeah,
I've seen the unclipped version.
Okay, gotcha.
On Twitter. And both times, yeah, they zoom in on the arm. I didn't see anything either. I'm not even gonna say that I did or whatever, but I will say it's from a cell phone. They're outside. Could either be a weird thing of lighting. The phone didn't adjust when it went to her. She's got a very pale arm, and they're outside, so it could just not be catching it. I'm not calling her a liar, but also it could be a thing where he did bite her. It did leave a mark, but it wasn't that bad of one. And by the time they were showing it, it had kind of gone away. Like, I think it might have shocked her more than it actually harmed her.
Yeah.
And
it's just weird.
It's still wrong. It's still very weird behavior.
That's the thing about it with me is, like, they were making it seem like it was, like, abusive almost, and it seemed more like it was just kind of a weird, like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
That was the reason I was laughing. I mean, I wouldn't be laughing if I was in the situation, but the way the news article that you showed me portrayed it, they just did a really bad job.
Well,
it seemed like a sketch from The Office, because it was like this old dude was just sitting there like, look, here's the thing, I bit you. she's like, we don't bite. Like, she's talking to a toddler. Like, that's actually something we have to deal with our daughter as a toddler. We're like, we don't bite people. That's not
my son too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It felt like they did a bad job clipping that together because it literally felt like a sketch.
I will say, being thrown into it in that way, and then obviously it's the news, so everything's amped up by 15%. Like it is a serious situation, but the news made it feel like it was like someone could have died kind of situation.
Well, but I also will say, you said he was trying to downplay it. That's probably true. I could see a little bit of that. I also think she was trying to exaggerate it.
I do. That's what I'm saying. I think that it shocked her more than anything that he did it.
Yeah.
And I think her adrenaline might have got going, and she was like, what the heck is your... And then human nature, when you've got people around you that are backing you, because everyone there's like, man, this is wrong. It amped her up even more.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it got to the point where she's almost talking to him like a child. Like, it could have been as simple as like, dude, don't bite me. Yeah. That's weird. Don't do that.
That's all that should have happened. The news should not have gotten involved.
Yeah, but it does this change your view of Kreese?
Well, no, Kreese is a character, but I don't.
Apparently not.
I don't have enough context, so my opinion on both of them hasn't changed at all. Other than it seems like what happened is they were goofing around, and Martin got carried away and did something kind of stupid, and it should have just been settled between them, where it was like, dude, I know maybe you were playing around, but
let's not play like that.
Yeah, please don't bite me. That makes me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then at that point, if he had continued trying to, then that's when it should have been a story. But like,
again, I do believe, especially if they even put the camera on her arm, I really believe they intended to get some kind of evidence that it left a mark. Like, I believe at some point it probably did leave like a red mark on her. And to me, that's pretty hard bite. Like, I mean, if it left a mark, even for a minute.
I don't know.
I will say this would be benefited from some footage of the incident.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have enough info because I don't trust the news. I don't trust either of them. It just seems like a situation that slipped out of hand.
Yeah, not a huge deal, but just something I found interesting since we've been talking a lot of Cobra Kai on here.
Yeah.
I was like, this is wild. I didn't even know the girl was on Cobra Kai, so it double fit. But I just thought it'd be interesting little thing to touch on.
That was entertaining. Thank you for sharing that.
I kind of wish I didn't have to. I'm
not trying to laugh at the situation necessarily.
No, I get what you mean. Like, it's the premise that's funny. Yeah. It's the idea that in this day and age, this is something that happened. Like, between two adults. Like, it was two adults, no kids involved, that, like, one bit another one, and you have to be like, no.
Yeah.
No. We don't bite. Not in this house.
Yeah.
No, it's the premise. It's obviously, it's humiliating for him, especially if he had no bad intentions behind it. It's humiliating for him. Probably, like, disheartening, I guess, if he felt like they were close like that, and then that reaction, like, he probably wasn't expecting it, even though he probably should have been. And
you'd have to be really close to someone to feel comfortable biting. I would feel weird.
Like married?
Yeah, exactly. I would feel weird if you bit me or if I bit you.
Yeah.
Like, that would be weird.
It would be very weird. And that's why I'm saying I do believe, regardless of whether or not it hurt her, did any kind of real damage to her, I do believe it really shocked her that happened.
It was probably just so uncomfortable as the thing.
I'll tell you,
what are you doing? You know?
And I don't mean to bring up a sore subject, but, like, the Michael Tate thing you were telling me the other day about the two boys who got like, one of them's in a band now, and they went and got, like, the thing to go see them, like, meet up with the Newsboys band.
I don't know what you're referring to now.
You said that you read a thing where, like, he wrote, like, a letter talking about, like, what happened at this thing where they met up with Michael Tate. They were, like, at a restaurant.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I sorry, you're starting to make me feel like I was a crazy person. I swear this happened.
No, they didn't write. They wrote to a news company or whatever to get a story out.
Right.
Yeah.
But it had to do with this.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is, like, there's a line, you know what I mean? Like, and it's a very, very, very thin line between I'm playfully biting you and I have ill intent. Like, it's a thin line. So, I mean,
I guess so. I would have to know more about the situation. I wish we.
I
also
agree.
Was it done in public? Did other people see it? Because if it was done in private, that makes it way worse.
It doesn't look better for him. I could say that.
Yeah.
But the way it sounds is like it happened at the convention.
Yeah.
Like, on the floor.
Right.
Because they even said in the news thing that she told the police while she was at her booth that she was assaulted.
Yeah. So I don't know if she was actually. I mean, maybe legally speaking, she was, but it's like.
Well, and to clarify, no charges were pressed. She just wanted the incident filed in case anything happens again. That's how it ends and wraps up. But. All that to say, like we were saying, it's not that it's the thing happened is funny. It's more the idea that this is even a thing, a story, a thing that happened between two grown adults is wild. But
I'd like to hear from if it was on the floor. Like, I'd like to hear from people who saw it happen.
Yeah,
like what they're maybe, like, I don't know.
I'll have to keep an eye out on that on Twitter and stuff just to see if. You see one thing and then you like it and then a bunch of other stuff related to it. So if I see anything pop up, like, later of, like, people, like, other accounts or something, I'll have to keep it saved. So next time we talk, I'll update you. But as of right now, the only thing I know of is that footage with them confronting him outside. And that's another thing is I'm wondering, is that immediately? Like,
yeah.
Or did you wait all day long and then as you were leaving the convention, you start yelling at this 80-year-old in the parking lot for something that maybe you stewed on for 5-8 hours, whatever. I don't know. Like I said, we really don't know enough, but I thought it was worth touching on just because it was kind of related to some things we've been talking about, and it's a wild story.
Sure is.
So from there, I got to ask.
I just want to know if he yelled "No mercy" right before he bit her.
Strike first. Oh my gosh. Good Lord. God, now I'm thinking of Cobra jokes. Have you seen the new Fantastic Four trailer?
Again with no audio. I'm always in situations when I pop through those things where I can't turn on the like Evangeline is sleeping or something, you know, and then I forget to go look at it later.
Dang. Well, based on the visuals, what'd you think? Did it? Are you about the same? Did it get you any more hype, or did you see something that kind of maybe dampened your hype a little bit?
None of that. I kind of stopped halfway through because I had a sneaking suspicion it was going to spoil something or give me like more information than I wanted. Because the trailers I've already seen have been enough for me. I'm already hyped for the movie.
That's fair.
And I saw some people commenting that like they're spoiling the movie too. So I was like, maybe they're just being ridiculous, but I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, especially if you know yourself and you're the kind of person that like less is more and you're already adequately hyped, I guess there's no really reason for you to watch it.
Yeah.
I watched it. I can't help myself. I'm a glutton for punishment in that way where even if it showed the end scene of the movie, I'd be like, it was worth it. It was totally worth it. But
you know what they should have done is for Brave New World, they should have put the biggest surprise of the movie in the trailer. That would have made it
the
so
biggest,
good.
reddest, angriest surprise
Yeah.
in the trailer. Yeah. And then promote the whole movie with it.
Yeah. I watched it again because it came out on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
And the second time around, I was like, I really think that was the biggest problem with this movie.
I told you it was. I knew leaving it. I was like, well, I won't say I knew leaving it. I knew after we sat on it and then we talked about it the next day. I was like, there's something with that movie that kept it from being really awesome because it was actually a solid movie.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But as soon as I thought about it, I was like, well, the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole end conflict was the promotional material. That ruined it.
Yeah, and I kept thinking when he was turning into Red Hulk, when I watched it the second time, I kept thinking, imagine what Chris and I's reaction would have been if we hadn't known that was coming.
Yeah.
We would have been like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the other complaints that we had probably would have forgotten.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at that point, you're like, dude, you remember when he was the Red Hulk?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Marvel used to be so good at fan service, and now it's like, I think they've lost so much good. I think they feel like they've lost so much goodwill with their like core fan base that they're afraid to surprise them anymore. Almost, and I mean, I get it. Like, it seems like they can do no right at this point. Like everything they put out, people are like just tearing apart. I don't know if you've seen it. I have not yet. But as we record this today, the first 3 episodes of Ironheart have been out for a few days. I'd say going on a week, but not quite a week. And the general consensus on Twitter, which is usually pretty harsh, at least with Marvel stuff, well, they were like, this is really good. Like, I never want to see another nano suit in my life. This is what I've been missing. The suit feels great. It looks great. The action's good. The story's good. And critics who have gotten to see the whole thing, the whole season, have said that it's got a really ambitious ending. Like, I don't really know where it leads, but they said that it's clearly leading up to something that's like really ambitious, and it made them excited for it. But then, like, I was like looking at like IGN and like all, and they're like shredding it. They're like, it's awful. It's boring. It's run of the mill Marvel TV, blah, 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 just like ripping it apart. I'm like, dang, like, it's a huge divide. So I kind of get it, but stuff like that does kind of ruin things like Brave New World, like its potential, what it could have been.
I think the reason they did that was because they were anticipating Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four being the real sellers. So what they did was and Marvel wasn't in a great spot. So what they did was they showed everyone the Red Hulk just to get people, because that was the most interesting part, just to try and get people to come, to try and get the excitement up again.
Yeah.
I think it was a mistake, but I think that was their thought process, is like, we'll use Brave New World as our like Kickstarter into this new era that we're about to go into.
That's very possible. I'm going to be honest with you. I think
I want you to lie to me.
Okay, let me hang on. I got to rethink how I'm going to word this.
You should have said I like you.
I don't know how. I'm not going to say it would have been easy, but I do think it could have been possible to market that movie as purely a like espionage thriller, kind of like in the vein of Winter Soldier, which they kind of did anyway. But then as the marketing went on and the Red Hulk stuff got revealed, obviously it became more and more clear this was going to be a bigger event. But had they marketed it purely as a like espionage thriller where you don't know in the marketing material who the villain is at all, then you really could have double surprised people, because the Hulk fans would have lost it seeing the leader be revealed in the movie, that he was the one pulling the strings, and then they would have lost it again. They would have thought at that point, well, that was the big surprise. Yeah. And then at the end, when Ross goes Red Hulk, people would have lost it again. Like, actually even more, because they would have thought, oh, well, we know who the villain is now.
Yeah.
And like, if you could have framed the narrative to where maybe the threat is that the president's going to get assassinated. So throughout the movie, you're trying to figure out who's pulling all these strings. And when you get to the bottom of it, it's the leader. You're like, oh, what a great reveal. You bring him back from the Incredible Hulk movie. Oh, that's crazy. And then Sam's like final mission, you think, is to go stop the assassination. And he gets there too late. And the guy gets the shot. You could have done like a modern day JFK situation. Then the guy gets the shot off. And everyone's freaking out, and the whole press conference goes into like pandemonium. You're like, oh my gosh, he didn't save him. And in your head, you're thinking, man, that makes sense why like Harrison Ford would agree to do this at his age, because like it was a one-off deal. They killed him off. And then you see a red hand come out. Dude.
Yeah.
I would have lost it.
I kind of hate it when we have these discussions, because then I feel so sad that things aren't that way. Because when we first reviewed this movie, we kept talking about endings where you said that you thought that Green Hulk was going to show up and clap. And I was like, dude, if they had done Green Hulk versus Red Hulk, and I remember saying this, they could have made up for what they didn't give us in Endgame with Hulk in that, by having Hulk face Red Hulk and as Professor Hulk and just beat him because he's smart and, oh man.
Man, I'm telling you, dude. I should just start writing movies.
You should. You should start writing Marvel movies.
Yeah, they would never let me get my hands on any of those IP. But on the topic of the Hulk, that's a good little segue into another bit of news we got this week. So from what we're hearing, all reports indicate that Spider-Man Brand New Day is now set to include Mark Ruffalo's Hulk as a potential antagonist, meaning we're probably getting Savage Hulk back, and the Punisher, John Bernthal's Punisher. So we kind of briefly just, like, I sent it to you, and I think you said you had heard about it, but we haven't really talked about this. So, like, what are your thoughts? Like, what are you thinking about this? Is this good news in your opinion, or is this like?
Oh yeah, I think it's great. That's an awesome idea. I'm like, because I'm trying to think of how that's even going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna turn them? Because Mark Ruffalo has no idea that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and they didn't really.
I don't know that they've ever interacted.
I don't think that they've interacted, but he probably would have known like who he was through Tony Stark and stuff like that. At least I think. Wait, I don't know. Maybe not, because in Infinity War. Because Spider-Man wasn't around in Endgame until the very end.
Well, what happened? Like in Infinity War, if you remember, Hulk crash lands in the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Oh yeah,
he talks to Tony. Doctor Strange, Tony, and Hulk go out onto the street when the Black Order first arrives, and then Peter and Iron Man meet up in the park later.
Yeah, that's
in that fight. But I don't remember Peter and Hulk or Bruce ever interacting.
Yeah. I don't think they did. So maybe, but either way, he definitely doesn't know who Peter Parker is.
Well, at this point, regardless, but
yeah. So it's just going to be weird how that even happens. But you say you think Savage Hulk is coming back, so he's not going to be Professor Hulk.
No, I don't think so.
Dude, okay, that makes me upset.
I'm actually kind of over the Professor Hulk thing. They didn't do it well.
That's fair, but I thought they did it fine. But even if that's the case, it just completely, like, I would rather they redeem Professor Hulk. I don't even actually think they did it that badly. But, like, the exciting thing about seeing Professor Hulk in Endgame, as soon as I saw them at the restaurant, I thought he's going to have a rematch with Thanos and have the intelligence with the power to fight him.
Yeah.
And that's going to be amazing. And that never happened. So I think
everyone thought that.
Yeah, and so like they're just never going to deliver on that. I don't know. I think that's silly.
Hang on. I will say this. So take all of this with a grain of salt because this is not even remotely confirmed. The thought process in the fan base purely right now is that somehow, some way, what we're going to end up getting in Spider-Man, whether it be at the beginning of it or by the end of it, is the Gray Hulk.
Ooh.
And I'm sure there's been different versions. The Gray Hulk I remember, and like in Marvel Rivals right now, which for those who don't know or might not know is an online game, kind of like not really strictly a role-playing game, but I don't know the exact type of game it is. Kind of in reminiscent to Overwatch, but a much better version because it's Marvel. There's like a skin in there right now where like you have the Gray Hulk, and he's always been kind of portrayed as almost like a gangster, like a 50s gangster, like his nickname is Joe Fixit, like.
Interesting.
And he can talk, but he's not like Professor Hulk smart. He's
Wait, is this still Bruce Banner?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he can talk, but he's not Professor Hulk's like complete sense. He's more like, like gruff and almost like the Thing, but like maybe even a little dumber. And probably stronger than Professor Hulk because he's still more in Hulk form than not. So we still might get a version of him that is more intelligent than just the pure green, like, monster version, but, like, stronger and a little more willing to fight and a little more scrappy than the Professor Hulk version. So, like, I don't think that pipe dream is completely over yet. Obviously, you have to wait and see where that goes. They may or may not go that route, but a lot of the fans are thinking that we're going to get Gray Hulk in some way, shape, or form.
I'd be okay with that. Maybe that could be a way to redeem it. But
yeah.
I liked the idea that he was able to bridge the world of the Hulk and his brains together. And I wanted to see, I was trying to picture that fight between Thanos and Hulk in Infinity War, like because the biggest difference was that Thanos he wasn't emotional and the Hulk is just pure rage.
Yeah.
Like he's just, like, so my thought was like, that's going to be really interesting to see him have the Hulk's power, but be able to keep his cool.
I think a really cool, and it'd be a cool way to tie Punisher into it as well, would be like if they rope the Punisher into this movie because he's like hunting down a new gang in New York and like Spider-Man is also dealing with them. And then, like one of the like big like mid-movie reveals is that it's a gang being run by Joe Fixit.
Wow.
Because like maybe Bruce, I mean, there's no Avengers right now. S.H.I.E.L.D. has been down for like years at this point. Like he's got nothing. So like maybe in his desperation and like he's not in Professor Hulk form anymore. We saw that in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
So maybe in like his desperation, he somehow accidentally bridged another gap and like Joe Fixit, the Gray Hulk has taken over and he's like running things in New York to like help Bruce survive. Because like at some level, that's kind of what the Hulk has always done is help Bruce survive.
Yeah.
This would be a little bit different version of that. But
have you finished Daredevil Born Again yet?
Mm-mm.
Dang.
I know. I'm really slacking.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a good husband, man. Like, she wants to watch it too, and I'm just like,
Oh yeah, we
Any-
struggle with that a lot.
any day. I mean, whenever
I
you
know.
want.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where I'm like, well, look, I've had the whole thing ruined for me anyway, so I'm just gonna go ahead and watch it. And whenever we watch it, I'll be equally as surprised as when I watch it because I know everything now.
Yeah. So here's what happens.
Okay. But yeah, I just think that'd be cool. Like, because it would make sense for Spidey and Punisher to be trying to track down this new gang that's popped up. And I think it would be a cool thing to see the Hulk running it out of like I got nothing else to do. And I'm in a different mindset. Like, I'm not Bruce right now. I'm not the Hulk. I'm not Professor Hulk. It'd be a different way to explore that character. It'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah. You know what they should do for Battle World is have Harrison Ford's Thaddeus Ross face off Han Solo.
That'd be crazy. Who wins? I would assume Han wins because he shot first.
That's fair.
Yeah, he'll shoot first.
Dude, I didn't mean to just completely derail this, but I like everything you said. Like, I think that could be a really cool way to do it. Like the Gray Hulk, like that sounds like a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
So that would satisfy me. But I was just going to say, we had this, I think you were the one I think this was the last time we recorded here. I mentioned something like, I think that Marvel should use the multiverse to bring Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then you said they can't do that because in Civil War, and actually in Winter Soldier too, I noticed this after you had brought this up, but you said in Civil War, Peter Parker makes a Empire Strikes Back reference, so they couldn't do it. And I'm like, oh, darn. But in Winter Soldier, at the beginning when he meets Falcon, he asks him...
It's on his list.
It's on his list, yeah. Star Wars to watch.
Did you know in the version of the movie that was released in England, it's Harry Potter instead of Star Wars on that list?
Interesting.
And I think they changed some other things too, but that's one of the more like
That's why America is better. You know?
Oh my God, I love your never-ending hate for everything Harry Potter. Like I always know if I want like a real good like joke from you, like just a rip right off the top of the head, just throw out Harry Potter. You'll come up with something.
I mean, that's a joke in and of itself. Even his name. You're like 2 letters off from Harry Potty, which is what Captain America. I mean, not Captain Underpants did. So.
I used to write my own Captain Underpants comics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My favorite thing...
Did you draw yourself as Captain?
No, I tried to draw him, but I couldn't draw. But my favorite thing to do was... do you remember... Did you read those books growing up?
Oh, yeah, dude. I was obsessed with them.
Do you remember how in like every book when he's fighting the big monster, there would always be like an advertisement sign? Well, that too. But there'd be an advertisement sign that he would crash the monster into. And like before it crashes, it says one thing. And then after it would say something. My favorite thing to do would be to draw that.
Oh, okay.
So like I don't know how I remember this. This was when I was like 8 years old, but I remember one that I was super proud of. That was I think it just said, "We sell butterfly parts," and then he crashes into it. And it says, "We sell butt parts or butts" or something like that. I was just so proud of that as a kid.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I was like, "Oh man, that's a good one. That's comedy, right?"
Yeah.
There.
Those books were like everything when I was little.
I read a lot of them.
They're great,
and it really explains a lot about me today as a human.
I think that's true. I think my favorite one is the something plot of Professor Poopy Pants.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. No, those were hilarious as a little kid. I need to get some of those for Ezra.
There you go.
Yeah, I need to do that. But
so Spider-Man: Brand New Day.
Yeah, I think they should incorporate the multiverse by bringing Captain Underpants into it.
That would be crazy. But they don't have the rights to Captain Underpants.
They could buy them.
That's true. How much is a pair of underpants for Disney? I mean,
no, but in all seriousness, I'm cautiously optimistic. Like I was honestly completely on board when I heard that Marvel won the whole thing between them and Sony, and Spider-Man 4 was just going to be like a grounded street level story.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this news makes me think that's not entirely true, but this news kind of makes me think that's not entirely true. You can't do a grounded Punisher, I'll give you. The Hulk.
I mean, if it's the Gray Hulk, like what you said, then they could pull it off.
Right, but the fact that I came up with that tells me they won't do it.
That's fair.
They're going to do something completely different. It's going to be a huge... I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know why that's such a big deal for everyone. Like, I've been hearing that online everywhere. It's, we're finally getting a grounded street level Spider-Man for Tom Holland. Like, that was not even the thing that I was like excited about. I didn't really care about that.
I'm not going to say that I think you and I are bigger fans than most people of his trilogy.
Of the Spider-Man Home?
The Home trilogy. I hear people's complaints about it. I acknowledge them. I respect them. And I understand
People complain about it?
Oh, yeah. I think I've told you this. They call him Iron Boy Jr. because of his suit. They basically, the big complaint from like Spidey purists is that like it took everything about Spider-Man that made Spider-Man special and kind of ripped it from him and kind of made Tony Stark the star of the Spider-Man movies. I disagree. I understand it, but I disagree. And you and I have talked about like moments in those movies where like the Spider-Man magic kind of really shines through. I mean, those are always the best moments in those movies. Like, it's never the fact that he's got a cool, shiny new suit, that makes it special. That's never been the cool part. But I will say I'm one of the people who I was really excited for a more grounded version.
He's still only going to have his suit, though.
No, that's gone.
In Spider-Man Brand New Day?
It's gone.
No. I think you misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm saying he's not going to have the Tony Stark suit anymore.
Right.
Yeah, that's my point. So it's still, those complaints, you don't have to worry about them, even if it's not technically street level.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true, but the point is, I think a lot of people were excited to see him take on like Kingpin or Tombstone or Scorpion or like a classic Spidey villain, like his version of Doc Ock instead of the multiverse version.
That's fair.
Something like that. Hobgoblin. I mean, he's got an iconic rogues gallery that to me rivals Batman's. Like,
they could have brought in at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, they were setting it up for the Sinister Six, and
yeah, they were kind of getting that ready to roll, which obviously never took off. You would have a lot of setting up to do. Like, that would probably have to be the end of the next trilogy. You couldn't do that in the first movie, but you could start setting it up in this next one.
Yeah.
But not if you're focusing on Punisher and Hulk and all these other things. Not to mention, you're kind of relaying the foundation of what his life is in the MCU now, because he's basically a whole different character now.
Yeah.
I mean, they made that decision when they did the Doctor Strange spell the way that they did.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm calling it now. They're going to find some way to cheese that. I'm calling that right now. Someone's going to remember him. And it's going to be some flimsy, like, well, I wasn't on Earth when the spell was cast, or I was in a different plane or something when the spell was. So I remember you. I'm calling it now. Like,
they can't get away with that because he literally made everyone in the entire multiverse forget Peter Parker existed.
Different multiverses, yes, but I'm saying
different universes, but not the entire multiverse.
Right, like just because, like picture the 616, but like, you know how there's like planes of like they go through it in Doctor Strange or whatever. Like they talk about different plane, like the astral plane and stuff. I'm just saying, I think the more likely excuse is going to be like a character like Thor or Captain Marvel or something was not on the planet when he cast it. So it's one of them. And I feel like I just have a feeling it's going to be Captain Marvel because they have that moment in Endgame where he's like, oh, I'm Peter Parker. And she's like, hey, Peter Parker, can I have the gauntlet or whatever whenever all the girls show up to get it across the battlefield? I just have a feeling that they're going to like call back to that and she's going to be the one to remember him or like vouch for him or whatever.
It would be great if Doctor Strange could make Captain Marvel forget that she exists.
Dude, The Marvels was not that bad.
I didn't see The Marvels.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, but Captain Marvel as a character, I just really hate her character. Just so much. She is way too overpowered. She's like all the problems that I have with Superman, except at least Superman has kryptonite.
Well, I don't think she's that powerful.
In game, she just flew through Thanos' entire ship. Like, I'm not saying it was aluminum.
But I think Thor could have done that too. I mean,
not like that. Thor's never done.
Hulk could have done it too, and he can't even fly.
Not quite like that. I mean, she just. I mean, Hulk would have taken him time at least.
Yeah,
he would have
had
to come
fly.
in.
But I'm just saying, like, the fact that she destroyed a ship is not a huge testament to her power.
I'm talking about the way she destroys just like everything. It's just like.
I'm just saying. I think her power level gets really overblown by a lot of people. I don't think she's that powerful.
She was holding the gauntlet and Thanos like headbutted her and she just like looked up like, ugh.
Yeah, but that's because she's absorbing the power of the Infinity Stones just like he is. Her power came from the Tesseract blowing up. That's how she got those not really binary, but
I didn't get that from it. Because
she's holding the gauntlet and you can see it like the whatever that light is over it going.
Could she have done the snap and not died from it?
I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
You just made it worse for me. If that's even a possibility.
I don't know.
So you killed Iron Man for no reason then. She could have just taken it and done it herself.
Well, to be fair, they flat out showed that Hulk could do it without dying, and they still let Iron Man do it.
He couldn't do it again, though.
Well, we don't know that. He had another hand.
Yeah.
And
the gauntlet only goes on one hand.
I'm going to be honest with you. Oh, please. If it can resize to fit Hulk and Iron Man, you're going to tell me it couldn't pop the thumb out over here?
Yeah.
Anyway. Also, on top of that, I'm just going to also throw out another gripe that Hulk fans have had is that that should have never hurt him. Or if it did, he should have healed from it immediately.
I agree with that, yeah.
So that's also baloney.
Yeah.
Baloney!
But the difference, though, is Captain Marvel and Iron Man were both there at the same time when Iron Man snapped it. So she could have just taken the gauntlet and done it herself.
Well,
without dying.
I don't even know if she knows that. Like, I know that because I've seen the movies. It's like in universe. I don't know if she knows that.
The writers knew it, so they needed to at least explain it. No, it's like in Lord of the Rings. Like, in the movies, they never properly explained why Gandalf couldn't just carry them. Because I don't know if you know how it ends, but the Eagles carry Frodo and Sam to safety. And everyone is always like, why couldn't they have just taken the Eagles and flown them into Mordor? And the writers of the movies never explained that well enough. So, like, it's a similar problem with that. And you know how much of a Lord of the Rings fan I am.
Yes.
So, which you should
Well,
know.
I don't take that as a gripe. I mean, I take that as just that's you saying there.
That's a little gripe. I wish they would have explained it.
I'm just saying, I think Captain Marvel's power level is a bit overblown. Not just by you, but in general. I think people really overstate. She's powerful, but she's not. I bet you she couldn't beat Sentry.
Probably not. I'll give you that. But Sentry is still more interesting because
I get your thing with that. I'm just saying I'm strictly talking power level. Like I'm thinking of characters in the MCU that are definitely more powerful than her. Sentry comes to mind. Honestly, Thor is probably more powerful than her.
I don't think so.
100. He's a god. Like she's a human that absorbed power. He's not even human.
That's why she is such a ridiculous character, because she is more powerful than a god.
She's not. There's nothing that's proven that.
Thanos laid waste to Thor, like in the fight, and then Captain Marvel, like she headbutts him, and Thor couldn't even take the Infinity Stones because Hulk was like, "No, dude, lightning won't help you."
But do you remember what they were saying though? Is his state of mind? Like it had nothing to do with his power. It had everything to do with the fact that mentally they didn't think he could handle that. Like what capacity he would have had to have mentally to successfully bring everyone back, but keep everything that was already there how it is. Like they were like, dude, you're not in the right space.
I'll give you that, except for the fact that Hulk said lightning won't help you.
It
has to be Gamma.
Hulk and Thor have always had that back and forth of who's more powerful. That's more a callback to that than it is like an actual
That's a very clever argument, but that was not clear. That was not clear in the story.
I'm not. Look, I'm just saying Thor for sure is more powerful than her. Like, matter of fact, if you want to talk feats of strength, he took a dying star to the chest in Infinity War to help create his axe.
Yeah, Stormbreaker.
She has done nothing even close to that.
I would argue that, like, she carried the entire, like, she's just floating in space, carried Tony Stark's ship all the way back to Earth. She blows through all these spaceships, these massive spaceships, like they're paper, like just. I mean, there's just no struggle at all. If it was hard for her, I would agree with you, but she just like kind of flies through it and just destroys everything.
I'm not saying she's not strong. I'm just saying moving a ship in space and even bringing it down and landing it is not equivalent of taking a star at point blank range to your.
I'm saying everything that she does, if you bring it into it, culminates to something that powerful. The way she just tears through ships.
But that's my point. Is you're culminating a bunch of things to match one thing.
I'm saying she could do something like that.
I don't know.
I'm saying all the stuff that she does. Anyway, look. The point is,
I also think Hulk is stronger than her. The point is, I'm right.
If you're talking about just brute force strength, maybe. But I don't know if Thanos beat the crap out of Hulk, and if Thanos can just headbutt her. I mean,
yeah, but.
Here's the thing. You might officially be right, but the way they portray her in the films is like she is just powerful.
Well, the thing is, they're not going to have her go straight up toe to toe probably with anyone like Sentry or Hulk or Thor or probably even Doom. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't. I'm going to be honest with you. Doom might be more powerful than her.
I would love that if Doom just wrecked her. I would like be a Doom fan.
I don't think that'd be the point.
It is now. I would love to see her go toe-to-toe with Sentry, though, and have Sentry just wreck her.
I don't think there's any... Thor and Hulk have the best chance of giving Sentry... And I'm talking about a Hulk, the likes of which the MCU has not yet portrayed. I'm talking about a Hulk. Like, they'd have to actually go read some Hulk comics.
That's my whole point, though, is like you might technically be right, but the way the MCU has portrayed her, it's
right.
Like
I get what you're saying, but that's why I was using MCU examples to tell you why I think that's still wrong. But I mean, if I can't change your mind, then I can't change your mind. I'm just telling you.
It's hard to change my mind when I'm right.
Based on what I feel like I know about the characters in and outside of the MCU, I think there's a few that are immediately more powerful than her. Immediately.
All right, we'll see. I hope that if they write that into this new Avengers.
Well, they're not going to do that because they're not going to shortchange any of their.
That's really convenient for your position.
Well, I'm just saying that they're not going to. That'd be like
it's not going to happen, but it could.
For example, I'll tell you what. Thanos was a villain, and they wouldn't even show any of our heroes straight up being more powerful than him the first go around in Infinity War or even in Endgame when they beat him.
Except for Captain Marvel.
Not really, though. She didn't beat him.
She didn't. But...
He took the stone out that was giving her the most power, gripped it in his bare hand, and punched her across the battlefield.
He took the
power
reason
stone.
He took that stone.
He took the power stone out.
But the Tesseract was the space stone.
Yeah.
You said that she got her power from the space stone, from this Tesseract.
Right. She got... I'm saying all the stones have like a similar kind of power. I mean, they do different things. She got her power from the Tesseract. What is the Tesseract? It's the space stone. She can't just teleport. It's not like she got the power from it and she can do what the stone does.
Yeah, but you said a second ago, he took the stone that was giving her the most power.
Because it releases, the power stone was releasing the most power is what I'm saying.
You're reaching now.
I mean, it's in the name. It's in the name. I could understand if it was like, the time stone was giving her the most power, so he took the time stone.
Well, Doctor Strange, the time stone is what gave him his power.
It did not. It absolutely did not.
Not his Doctor Strange power, but I'm like, for instance, in Doctor Strange 1, he used the time stone to create a loop to help him win.
Right.
Like, you would have had to take the time stone away for him to not be able to do that in that situation.
Right. Let me ask you.
You were making it sound like her powers from the...
It's not from the Space Stone exactly. Like, she didn't get its power. She absorbed the power that, like, it released when it exploded out of that ship, and she absorbed it. I mean, her power isn't like a specific, she's just strong and she can fly. I mean, none of that has anything to do with any of the other stones other than just the fact that their power correlates. But for example, the Time Stone thing, who would you say gave Thanos the best fight in Endgame or Infinity War? I will accept
Captain
one
Marvel.
of two answers. Huh?
Captain Marvel?
No. Iron Man or Doctor Strange?
Well, okay, I'll give you Iron Man, actually. Because
Iron Man was the only one to draw blood from him?
It depends on what you mean by the best fight, though. Like, yeah, Iron Man technically drew blood from him, but Iron Man was a good fight because of how inferior he was to Thanos.
Right.
Like, that's why he it was such a good...
That little, like, 3 to 5-ish...
No. Scarlet Witch. I actually take that back. Scarlet Witch
She
wrecked
scared
him.
She scared him and took him by surprise, but I'm telling you right now, fight, like, he did stuff and the other person did stuff. Doctor Strange. Go back and watch that from Infinity War and tell me anyone stood a better chance. He literally had to use every stone at some point, which he never did against anyone else.
Yeah.
At least Solo.
Yeah.
He had to use every stone that he currently had in his possession to stand a chance against Doctor Strange. And when he finally got him, he said, "You're full of tricks, wizard, but you never used your best one," and crushes the Eye of Agamotto, and the stone's not in there, which says he never used the Time Stone to fight Thanos. His power comes not at all from the Time Stone, and really,
that's not the point that I was trying to make. I'm not saying that his power. I even clarified that. I'm saying, like, for instance, he used the Time Stone in
his movie,
yeah,
to
like,
make the loop.
Yeah, so you would have had to take the stone away in that instance.
What do you mean?
Never mind. It's
I'm not following.
I'm saying he wouldn't have been able to do that time loop without the Time Stone.
Right.
So, like,
That's true.
Yeah, that's
true.
the only point that I was trying to make with that. But you were saying that Captain Marvel got her power from the Tesseract.
From absorbing the explosion. Not necessarily, I guess saying that she got it from the Tesseract is a little misleading.
Anyway, we've kind of beat... This horse is dead. This horse has been dead for a while because Captain Marvel sucks. So I'm just joking around.
I know. Sort of.
Look, maybe I'll watch the Marvels. Maybe she'll get redeemed for me. I don't know. But I didn't like the way they portrayed her in her movie or in Endgame. So, how did we even get on that? We were talking about Brand New Day, right?
Yeah. We were just talking about powerful characters. Hulk.
Yeah, Hulk.
And the like.
I mean, overall, we were talking about how the ground level Spider-Man, like why everyone was like so excited. To me, it's always been like, yeah, but this is a different universe. Like in Homecoming, the Vulture became the Vulture because of alien weaponry. It wasn't because of Oscorp, which in a lot of the Spider-Man comics, it's Oscorp that creates.
Has a hand in, yeah.
And dude, this is one of the reasons I don't like Miles Morales. Like, I don't like the way they're setting it up for Miles Morales in the MCU. But in Amazing Spider-Man 2, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, I loved that he went and found out that his dad put his DNA into the spiders. That's why it created villains for everyone else, but it worked for Peter Parker. And I was like, that is so genius, because that's always been something that I've had with like superhero movies in general. It's not like a huge gripe, it's just a little nitpick, but it's always like, how come only one person becomes good and everyone else who gets powers becomes evil? And they explain it in a very, very satisfying way in Amazing Spider-Man 2. In the MCU, now in Across the Spider-Verse, they did this really well, because the reason Miles Morales got bit, there's no Spider-Man in his universe. He was in a subway where Kingpin was messing around with the multiverse, and a spider got through there. So that's understandable.
Well, there is a Spider-Man in his universe.
Well, now, because he's Miles Morales.
Well, no, like
not in Across the Spider-Verse.
In Into the Spider-Verse. Peter Parker was fighting Green Goblin in that collider when Miles was like discovering his powers.
I thought that was a Peter from a different universe.
No,
He
that
showed
was
up through the
that
multiverse.
was their Peter Parker. Their
Oh,
Spider-Man.
then I hate that. That sucks.
But now the universe that the spider came from, that was supposed to bite that Miles, doesn't have a Spider-Man, which is why, spoilies, at the end of...
I never saw the second one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'd never seen Across the Spider-Verse.
Well, I'm assuming you don't care, because...
No, I don't care.
Okay. So what you find out at the end of that movie is that the spider that bit him in the first movie got sent there from another dimension, from that collider that sent all the other spider people. It got sent there. It was never supposed to bite him. And now the universe that it was supposed to bite a Miles in doesn't have a Spider-Man. And that Miles became the Prowler. And that universe is like falling apart. And it's all, the city's divided up by villains.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that.
Okay, never mind. I take it back. Then I do like that. Okay, I can live with that. So it was still a spider that was meant for Miles Morales, just
But a
not
different
that one.
Miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this universe, he was never supposed to become Spider-Man, but that had the collider thing. All right, I can live with that. I think that's pretty satisfying. But like my whole thing was like, if you can just have someone take over.
I feel like I've ruined a good movie for you to convince you to ever watch the good movie.
I mean, I liked Into the Spider-Verse a lot, but I wasn't like, I'm not like huge into like, I got to see the second movie. So, but anyway. What I never liked about it was like, if you can just have spiders biting people and they can just take over the mantle of Spider-Man, why doesn't everyone just do it? Like that's why I loved Amazing Spider-Man 2, because it's like, this will only work for Peter Parker.
So I don't want to spend too long on this, because I also do want to touch on the Superman clip and then the trivia-esque thing that I want to talk to you about. But I do want to say it is so fun for me to talk about this stuff with you, because your experience with this stuff is strictly the movies. So you have such a different outlook and takeaway from these things than people who spent 5, 10, 15, 20 years reading the comics and then going to see these movies. People, the comic book community, hated that in Amazing Spider-Man 2. They hated
what?
The incorporation of, first of all, Peter's parents at all, because that has never mattered in Spider-Man's story. The couple times that the comics have tried to like make his parents matter, like I think there has been a couple storylines where they were like government agents or spies or something. It always kind of falls apart because it's never the point. Like the point is not who his parents were or were not, or what they did or didn't do. The point is it's about him and like him just being a good person and overcoming like all the crappy things that life has dealt him. And on that note, the thing you're saying that like for you, watching a movie only and like logically to you, it makes sense now. Like they gave a reason to why him being bitten, it worked in a certain way, but for everyone else it didn't. Even though that's really not ever the case in the comic. Like you said, it never, no one else in the comics gets bitten by spiders and turns into a villain. But regardless, everyone hated that too, because Stan Lee's whole vision when he created Spider-Man, the reason that he made him like a kid versus all these other like Captain America and Hulk and the Fantastic, like they're all like grown adults, was because he wanted it to feel like anyone could have that mask on and be Spider-Man. So like the idea behind that character is that it could have been anyone, but Peter got bitten. So to kind of flip that and be like, well, Peter's the only one that this would have ever worked on, it actually kind of makes it feel less realistic, because like what are the odds? Like if you only did it for this one person, so then what are the odds they would stumble into it and it
pretty good, because his dad was involved in Oscorp.
Yeah,
and
but I mean,
and naturally he's curious. Yeah, odds are really good.
I don't. I put it like that. For a movie, yeah, the odds are great, but for like real life,
no, it makes total sense.
I don't feel like every kid in real life who's had a parent or parents die like goes and like retraces their parents' entire steps of like what their career was and like digs into things and finds things
unless
out.
they had reason to believe it was related to their death. But also Peter is interested in the science. He's a really smart kid. So he's interested in Oscorp and he's interested in those things. It makes sense that he would kind of stumble into that and try to, and you want to know more about your, like I'm sure anyone who's lost a parent wants to know it, especially if they thought there was like foul play or something. Like, I'm sure they would want to know more about what's going on there.
I mean,
that makes complete sense to me.
Possibly, but I'm just saying, like, also him getting bit by the spider had nothing to do with him becoming a hero, like being good or bad. Just like all the other people who get powers in that universe, it has nothing to do with how they got them that makes them bad. They were bad to begin with. The powers just let them act on it. So, I mean, like, again, kind of like attributing like it only working on him and making him good.
No. I'm not saying that the power made him good. I'm just saying you're right that most of the people who got their powers got it through. But even Harry Osborn in the Amazing Spider-Man duology, he didn't he didn't have bad intentions. He was just dying and he needed help. And Peter was saying it could kill you or do something much worse. So like I can't give this to you. And it's not like Harry was like a bad dude, but the stuff took all that rage and emotions and it heightened it to a point because his body can't be compatible. I'm not saying that the spider made Spider-Man good or that it made Harry Osborn bad. I'm just saying that it's not compatible with him. It's like if you took a drug that made you just a rage monster, you know? It's like, it doesn't mean you're like a bad person, but he wasn't wise about it. He wasn't patient enough and he took his anger out on Spider-Man instead of,
I don't know. He also completely robbed someone of their spot to be in there on that tour because he stole someone's name tag.
huh? Oh, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Harry Osborn.
No.
So?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he did something not right, but he's trying to, it's sort of like Rahab's lie in the Bible,
No.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
Probably should. And maybe if you tell me, I'll be like, oh, okay, I do.
It's a big debate about, is it okay? Like, because lying is obviously against the 10 Commandments. And I still believe that lying is bad, but Rahab held Israelite spies in her house. And when people came asking for them, she lied and said that she saw them run off somewhere else. And God honored her for her faith. And it doesn't say he honored her for a lie. It says he honored her for her faith and what she did. So that's a big debate in Christianity is lying okay? I still say, no, it's not. But God holds you accountable to what you know, I think, ultimately, and where your faith is. So it's, personal conviction. She didn't realize. Like, imagine if like a new believer got saved and then did something that they thought was really good, but it wasn't quite right, and they needed to be taught the right way. Like, God's not going to hold them accountable for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is a non-Jewish person who doesn't know the 10 Commandments trying to. So it's like Peter probably did something a little wrong, but he was pursuing something good. Not saying that shouldn't be addressed, but
Well, I don't know that he was pursuing something good. He was pursuing something selfish, but it didn't.
Trying to figure out the death of his parents?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that's like.
You think that's selfish?
I don't even know if he was at Oscorp to figure out the death of his parents.
I don't actually remember why he was there.
I was going to say, I don't think at that point in the movie that's what he was doing.
Oh, it was because of the decay rate algorithm thing that he was looking up. It had to do with his parents. He was interested. He came across something of his dad's research or something, and he was like, I got to figure more out about this.
Yeah, but I thought that came later. I thought that came once he met Connors at Oscorp and found out that he knew his dad.
No, he just then explained it to him, I think. I'd have to go back and watch
I was
the
going to say,
movie again.
I'd have to get refreshed on it to remember exactly, but regardless. Anyway.
All right, so you want to talk about Superman, right?
Yes. We got a little clip, a little sneak peek into the final product that, as we discussed earlier, we'll be going to see in about a week or so. Probably it's become one of my most anticipated ones because of the discussion I feel like it's going to spark between us on this show. But I'm going to start with, let's introduce the clip. Do you want to talk about it or you want me to throw out like just the little premise.
I just got done talking a lot, so you go.
Okay. So it's a short little clip. It's maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It depicts Luther's office. He's in there talking to someone. All of a sudden, his office doors burst open off the hinges, fly across the room, and Superman walks in. And
oh, that was Superman? I'm just kidding.
I was like, yeah. That was good because for a second I was like, who did you think it was? So he walks in, and it's kind of again, this is subtle stuff, but to me, it depicts Luther really well. Everyone like jumps up. One dude falls backwards out of his chair, and Luther's just stoic. Like I don't think he moves. Like he might look at the door, but he doesn't jump or anything, which is pretty cool. The thing that to me I'm going to highlight while talking about this clip is the dynamic between those two. I think is going to be phenomenal. He walks in and he's asking where the dog is. For those of you who have seen the newer like full length final trailer for the movie, Luther and a couple of powered up henchmen storm the Fortress of Solitude. I don't know what they're looking for, but I'm assuming that in that process is where they find and detain Crypto, the super dog, because he's in that clip fighting them. And then afterwards, we now get this clip of Superman bursting into his office asking where the dog is. Now, I could be wrong. They might not have him at all. Obviously, at this point, I haven't seen the movie. But that's kind of my supposed context that I'm rolling with. So Luther is, he's playing it cool. Oh, Superman, it's so nice to finally meet you. So the implication here is this is the first time we're seeing them face to face in the movie. Would you like a coffee, a tea? And Superman grabs the edge of his desk and flips it across the office. It smashes into a window, and Luther just kind of like calmly picks his mug up off of it before he throws it. Again, I think just really showing like he knows he's going to throw the deck. Like he's like preempted. It's very cool how they portray him in this scene. It really makes me want to see more of Luther in this movie. But Superman starts screaming, "Where's the dog?" Like screaming. Like you probably couldn't hear it great because I was playing it on my phone speaker. But when you listen to it with headphones on, Superman can do like the super breath thing. So when he screams, it like the audio, it sounds like there's a lot of wind like coming out, which is also a cool little detail. And Luther's just very much downplaying it. Like, I don't know what dog you're talking about. I have no idea. And he has someone recording the situation. So that's probably going to play a part in the movie as well. Going to try and sway the public opinion of Superman. Cause he's unhinged here for Superman. I mean, he's not like hurting anyone, but he's very, very distraught. And, so he's, just yelling at it. And then he finally calms down. He's like, he's just a dog. And Luther is like, I'm just saying, I don't know what dog you're talking about. And as he goes to sip his coffee or tea or whatever, he's like, ugly dog in a cape. And he goes, what'd you just say? And he goes, huh? And that's the end of the scene. And it's real tongue in cheek. And I think its main purpose is to highlight the dynamic between, Holt and Corn Sweat. I don't know how to say his last name.
Oh yeah.
Luther and Soups. I thought it did a really good job.
It sounded like you said Lutheran soup, like a Lutheran church.
Lutheran soup. Come get a bowl today. But yeah, I thought it did a really good job. Obviously, it's been very divisive online. You've got a half the comic book movie population screaming that this is ridiculous, it's corny. As Daniel kind of noted before we got on the mics, which we didn't talk in depth about it, but he said he saw people that he agreed with, or I'm pretty sure he agreed with, saying that he's too emotional. And then there's another half that are saying this is great acting, a great dynamic. Anyway, so that's the scene. I'm going to let you speak on it first.
So you liked it?
Overall, I liked it.
Yeah. Okay, so you do have a little bit of issues with it?
I don't know if I'd say issues. I mean, I think I put it like, I will say this. I think it was a weird scene to show.
Yeah.
For like a clip. I think James Gunn or whoever decided to cut that and put it out should have known better, because here's the thing. I'm giving the movie benefit of the doubt till I see it, which majority of the public will not do because people have no patience nowadays. And so when they see this much, they want to take it and blow it into this huge thing. I'm giving the movie the benefit of the doubt until I have reason not to. A, and B, within the context, if you're really piecing it together of listening to what they're saying, putting that in your mind of kind of like, okay, this is probably where this takes place in the movie. It's probably fairly early, first half. It's the first time they've met for sure, based on what he says. And again, Superman is under the impression, whether or not this is true at this point or not, but we see it in the trailers. At some point, they broke into the Fortress of Solitude. My assumption right now is that they did it and stole his dog or detained his dog because his dog was trying to protect what is essentially Superman's home. He's under the impression that people broke into his home and stole his dog. A lot of the people online, and this is not going to resonate with you because of the discussions we've previously had about you never having seen John Wick, but a lot of the people online who are yelling about him being too emotional are the same people who would champion John Wick for going on a 2-hour murder spree for someone killing his dog.
That's not the same thing at all.
It's 100% the same thing.
No.
If anything, for Superman, it makes more sense because John Wick only knew that dog for a couple weeks at most, and this has been Superman's dog for years.
In the last episode, you literally went on a tangent about how important that John Wick dog was.
It is
because it's related to his wife.
Hang on. I think they both make sense. I'm saying you can't say that one makes sense and one doesn't.
Yeah, you can.
I disagree. They're the same thing. You broke into my home, which is already, for me, grounds to... I'm not going to say it on here, but I think that's grounds to no longer be able to break into homes again. I'll just say that.
Sure.
Much less than you stole my pet? Nah.
Yeah,
You're lucky that all I did was break into your office and yell at you.
The thing about John Wick, though, is what I would think people would say is he was more calm and collected. And like, he wasn't yelling, he wasn't screaming, because he knew he was in control ultimately, and he knew they were going to pay for the dog. And that's why he just went off and just killed them. He didn't going, where's the dog? Like, the way Superman... All right, let me first say this. Overall, I liked the scene, too. I'm optimistic about the movie, and I'm the same with you. I'm giving the movie the benefit of the doubt, despite my feelings that they're going to use kryptonite in a way that I don't like. But, oh yeah, it's probably fun to mention on the podcast. I looked up what comics James Gunn was basing this off of, because if you've been listening to the podcast at all, we've been debating about kryptonite and Superman and my dislike of the use of kryptonite. And one of the things Chris has told me was like, he doesn't think kryptonite is going to show up in this movie, which that could be great or bad as far as I'm concerned. I looked up what comics James Gunn is basing this off of, and one of the big ones was All-Star Superman. And I went to a store and found that comic, and within like 3 pages, there was someone with a kryptonite laser who was getting ready to shoot Superman. And I was like, all right, so, anyway.
Well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me it was within the first... If it's within the first 3 pages, then it's probably not even like an important thing. It's probably
it was super important because I kept flipping through and the laser kept coming up. And Superman was showing people, like, this is a thing could actually hurt me. It's a kryptonite laser. And like... Yeah. It was anyway. That's beside the point, though. The point is just you already know how I feel about kryptonite. It's like, I think it's a silly thing. But anyway, so overall, I liked the scene. I loved Lex Luthor because for once, someone is not trying to be the Joker as a villain. Thanos was the same way, but that's Marvel anyway. Like, I felt like after Heath Ledger's Joker, every villain was just trying to do a variation of Joker. Even I love Jesse Eisenberg, but even his portrayal of Lex Luthor in...
he's like very unhinged.
Yeah, it's felt like he was trying to be a Joker version of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And there was another one that came out. I don't remember. There was another villain, and I just like, this feels like everyone's just trying to repeat what Heath Ledger did instead of Lex Luthor felt like a completely unique character in this one. I loved how super calm he was because he felt like he was in control, and you can tell that he's just power hungry. Like he loves the idea that he has won over on the most powerful being in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like you could sense that. What I didn't like, and this is one of the reasons why it's different between John Wick and Superman 2, Superman is portrayed as this, like, at least from my understanding, this super good guy who knows how to stay cool. He's not this unhinged person. And again, I don't have context around the scene, so it could be that this has been building up, and now they took his dog, and maybe he just got done with that interview with Lois Lane where she's like accusing him of stuff, and he's just like, it's finally coming to a head for him.
Mm-hmm.
There could be a reasons to explain it. I'm not totally discrediting it,
Right.
but I agree with you. They shouldn't have picked that scene because to me, that portrayed Superman as like like he's not in control of himself, and he just comes in, "Where's the dog?" Like he's just so angry, and it made me like John Wick is not like John Wick was like, all right, these guys are gonna pay for this, and it was more his actions. It's like, yeah.
Well,
It would have been better if Superman had done more violent things in that scene, in my opinion. Granted, I don't have the context, so maybe it's perfect for the movie, but it would have been better if he had actually done more violent things but seemed more calm. Like if he had just stormed in and just flung the desk without saying anything and just said, "Give me my dog back." Like that would have been more, you know.
Well, see, to me, that would have, I think, sent a different message. And again, we don't have the context. This is you and I talking strictly about a 2-minute clip. The message I got from that scene, aside from the fact that both of them are acting their behinds off in this movie, that was a great
acting.
No real special effects other than maybe when he flung the desk, and to me that looked practical. Yeah. So no, like it was just two dudes acting at each other. Great.
Yeah.
Aside from that, the message I got from that, and it's kind of funny because we're talking about the John Wick thing, and you're talking about how John Wick is more like calm and more like, oh yeah, these guys, I'm gonna kill them all. Like,
yeah.
I will say I attribute some of that to the fact that Keanu Reeves is not a very ranged actor. That's my opinion. Some people may disagree with that, but he could not pull off a scene like this. It would not hit the same. He's kind of got one gear, and he's great at that one gear. He's great at it. But all that to say, what I got from this is that Superman is very human. Like had he come in and did what you said about like being a little more stoic, like stone-faced, and just maybe almost like he's kind of tearing up the place, but like quietly, and like that would have been a lot more intimidating, I think. But I think that was the point, is that even though he holds all the real power in that moment, like physical power, Lex is the one in control there. And that's always been the interesting dynamic between those two, is that Superman has lines he will not cross, and Lex knows it. So Lex is very smart and rich, therefore powerful in his own way, and can put Superman in compromising situations where the actual core of the story is, how does Superman get out of this without crossing a line that he won't cross? And I think that was really portrayed well here. I think just like what you said, I think when we see the movie, the context will be that he's been doing everything he thinks is good. He's trying to make a positive difference in the world because of how he was raised and who he was raised by. And in this day and age where everything is so politically charged, he can't make a move without all the world's media like dissecting him and being like, oh, is this like a declaration of war? But he's like, whoa, I wasn't acting on behalf of anyone. I was acting on behalf of me. People were going to die, like that kind of thing. Fighting that, trying to do the interview, that didn't go well. And it was with someone he trusted and thought that he could rely on to back him up. And she's kind of grilling him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you find out this dude broke into your home and stole your dog, which is probably like the one bright spot in your life right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a very human reaction to walk in there and kind of throw a tantrum. Like he knows you're not going to hurt him. But he knows you know that he stole your dog and broke into your home, which is just a huge invasion of privacy regardless of anything else. It's a super interesting moment. Like, for that, I do love that this is the scene they put out, but I hate it for like the general perception of the film, because all it's done is give the Snyder crowd more fuel to be like, oh, I thought y'all didn't want a pouty. Well, I don't want a Superman who all he does is walk around moping, but I do want one that feels emotion, even the negative ones. Like I've been telling you, the whole interesting thing about him is he wants to be human.
Let me just throw this out there. I'm not a Snyderverse fan either.
No.
Like,
I know.
I know that you know that, but I just want everyone who's listening to understand. I'm not advocating, like, this looks way better than anything in the Snyderverse, to be fair. Like, I did not like Man of Steel. Where did these fans come from? Because when the movies were coming out, they weren't showing up. Exactly. I'm like, what? I don't understand. There's like hashtags I see of like, bring back the Snyderverse. I'm like, where were you in the box office?
Yeah.
Like, those movies flopped. They were terrible. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, they were not good movies.
Yeah.
Why are we? I think people on the internet are just trying to find reasons to stir up controversy. Like,
they are. This is, I think what it was a lot of people loved Henry Cavill as Superman, didn't love the movies he was in, but loved him as Superman. And when James Gunn took over, he really wanted to wipe the slate and start clean. So he recast Superman.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to do his own thing with Superman that wasn't tied even remotely to anything else. I loved Henry Cavill as Superman. He is a phenomenal Superman. I wish he could have been in something like this. I think he actually would have fit really well with James Gunn's kind of like happy, borderline campy, but in a cool, like tongue-in-cheek way. And he just looks the part, man. He does. I love him as Superman.
Me too.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to discredit this new guy before I even give him a chance. Like you said, to me, this visually, just right off the rip, looks better than anything that the Snyderverse did.
Even more than visually. I mean, the acting was not bad in the Snyderverse movies.
Well, not all of it.
Well, Lex Luthor was pretty bad. But like Amy Adams as Lois Lane, Henry Cavill as Superman.
I like Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah, even Ben Affleck as Batman. I mean, they were great actors, but it just didn't work. The whole thing just was bad. So I'm like, my gripes have nothing to do with the Snyderverse. It's more to do with DC in general and just we've talked about my issues with Superman. But I was going somewhere with that, and I don't remember what it was. All that to say, I'm not in support of the Snyderverse. This looks way better than anything in the Snyderverse, even with my gripes. I'm actually looking forward to it. Oh, I remember. So I agree with everything you said about the scene. Like, I think that there's probably a lot of context that's going to make this scene, but I think it was a bad choice. Because to me, especially as someone who's skeptical of Superman, seeing that scene initially made me feel like he doesn't seem like he's like Superman's supposed to be composed and like he's like this hero that we all look up to. But that's part of the interesting story is Luthor's going to start trying to rip that out of him. Yeah. And
well, and I think, man, I don't love the idea that, and I'm not saying you're saying this, I want to be clear, but to what you just said, I don't love the idea that people in general might want a Superman that is just composed all the time. Because to me, that wouldn't be human. That would not be human. And to me, that's right off the rip not true to that character.
Well, I'm not also saying composed all the time. But I'm saying that
but for a first impression, it wasn't, okay, I get what you mean.
I'm just saying the ideal Superman is one who has he's kind of like an American version of the person we all aspire to be in many ways. He's like everyone, like Captain America. I'm not talking about powers wise, but if Captain America had done that, people would have been like, that's not Captain America. Like, that's my impression of Superman has always been like, he's like that person.
He is. He's the Boy Scout of DC.
Right. So just seeing that initial reaction made me be like, nah.
But I'll say it like this. Batman, I don't think would ever act like that. And
I think he would.
And Batman,
where are the drugs going?
I'm talking about for instance, I'm picturing what's his name? Pattinson's Batman, like, other than in the midst of actually fighting someone, I can't imagine him having some burst of emotion like that. And that's because Batman is kind of inhuman for a human. He's very stoic, very emotionless. His only emotion is like somber. Like, he just is. There is no layers to him. The deeper you go, the darker it gets. That's it. And that's why I think, like, and they're supposed to be kind of opposite ends of that spectrum. That spectrum being strictly the good guys line. Like, Superman's way over here, like bright sunshine, America, and Batman's like the edge of like, I won't kill you, but I will make you scream for me to kill you kind of thing. Like that spectrum. And I just feel like that's why it does make sense for him to act like this. I still say, yeah, not great fuel for such a divided crowd already. But for someone who's looking forward to the film, who really was actually itching to see more of them interacting, I'm thrilled that that's the scene we got. But even with me liking it, I'm like, I kind of wish y'all wouldn't have just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to that point though, nobody had gripes about Luther. Even the people who had.
Oh, you're talking about in the scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone's gripes were with Superman's emotions. None of them were with Luther.
I think
it made Luther look really good.
I think everyone. Well, and you know what? That actually might have been part of the reason they put it out then, because I don't think a lot of people were sold on Luther at all.
Yeah.
Not only because Luther has been pretty hard to portray in recent times, but also, like you were talking about, ever since Eisenberg's portrayal of him. I think he just lost a lot of respect in a lot of DC and non-DC's people's like fans' eyes. So I think maybe they were like, well, we can at least get a lot of people on board for Luther. Like, this is a cool Luther scene. Yeah. So maybe that was the intention. And if it was, it worked brilliantly because I haven't seen anyone say anything negative about him in this scene. Yeah. Like, the way he carried himself in it, the way he was acting, like I said, the subtle things, like him not jumping when the door burst open, picking up his mug right before the desk, like subtle, but just when you really go back and you watch the scene 3, 4, 5 times and you just pay attention to him and his movements and his facial expressions, it's like, oh yeah, that's a good Luther. That's a really good Luther.
I agree.
But anyway, so lastly on that, I feel like us talking kind of like got your hopes kind of on the upswing for the movie, and then you went and found that comic, and it kind of dampened them a little bit. Did this scene kind of push them back up a little bit, or it didn't really do anything?
Didn't really. I mean, other than the fact, maybe a little bit, just because Luther was so interesting. But I was a little bit like, I don't know about that Superman, But again, there's easily things they can do in the movie to justify his reactions. So like. I think to me the biggest thing is kryptonite. Like, there's just they need to, if they're not going to put kryptonite in the movie, they need to explain. And if they do that, I will be satisfied. If they say something like they hint at the fact that it's not discovered yet, or there's some reason that there's no more kryptonite, like, that will make me way more interested in it. But I just have a feeling Luther's going to discover some kryptonite.
Look, there will be kryptonite at some point. Okay. I'm just saying, in this movie, I don't see James Gunn leaning on it like that in this movie. I just don't. Even if they like show it in kind of like a wink wink kind of way, I just don't think it plays a part in this movie. I don't.
We'll see.
That's my guess, and I'm sticking to it.
I just remember when Dawn of Justice came out, Batman vs Superman, like, there was immediately, I in the back of my head, I was like, I wonder what Batman is going to do to stop Superman. And in the movie, it's like, shocker, he found some kryptonite. And the whole fight scene was like just so predictable. It's like he uses the kryptonite, it wears out, then he uses more kryptonite. So I don't know. And also, let's just, like, that movie was just not good.
It had moments I liked, but all in all, yeah, like it was not a great film.
Yeah.
Like,
aside from the kryptonite, it was just...
I still go to this day to YouTube and watch the scene in the warehouse where Batman just tears through all those henchmen when he's trying to say, Martha!
Yeah.
Why did you say that name?
Yeah, that was so dumb. It's like, yeah, that was so bad. Yeah, are you saying you watched that scene because you like it?
Of him fighting the henchman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that scene was really cool.
That, to me, until we got Pattinson, which I still can't believe you don't like, until we got him, that was the most like realistic Batman action scene I've ever seen. Like, as far as depicting what he could actually do against a group of guys. Like, the Bale Batman, I like the aura of those movies and like the world around it, and I love all the like thorough explanations that like Nolan gives as to how this could realistically be like, I know that was his whole take, is like, how could this realistically happen? And I think it's cool for what it was. But I think one thing that was really, really lost in those movies, well, two things really. They try and do some like detective-ish stuff in those movies, but it's really just him using a computer, which Batman does have like a crazy computer system in the comics and the animated series and stuff that he kind of relies on to get like a lot of coverage and information on a lot of things at once, but he still does detective work. And I think that was lost in those. And the other my main gripe, because I can even let that slide. My main gripe, he is not a good fighter in those movies, especially for the whole first movie to have like the whole first half of it is him being trained by the League of Shadows. And then he comes back to Gotham and he's like, moving all stiff in that suit and everything. I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude. It got progressively worse. The first movie probably had the best action. The second movie, they kind of toned down on it because they could focus more on just the Joker, who's not really a physical threat kind of villain. But it really shined through in the third movie how bad it was, because Bane is a physical threat to him, and their fight at the end was atrocious.
I hated Bane in that movie.
Yeah, they did not do that well.
Oh, for one, his voice, it was so loud compared to everything else. Like, it's like every time he talked, it was like, oh, I had to turn my TV down. Not even like trying to joke. Like, it was literally that much louder than everything.
Yeah.
But secondly, it was a stupid voice.
Yeah.
There's nothing remotely, do you want me to break your body? I mean, it sounds almost like a really bad Indian accent. Like,
well, and the funny thing is, by all accounts I've ever seen, Bane is like Hispanic or Mexican or something.
Is he really?
In the comics and in the animated stuff I've ever seen, he's always like that's why his mask looks like a luchador mask, typically.
Oh.
He's like Mexican. He's like a Mexican cartel member.
They should do a multiverse where Nacho Libre is Bane.
It might be better.
Anaconda squeeze! Alfred! I need reinforcements.
Oh my gosh. Breaking news as we come back from our break. Michael Bay is reportedly set to come back and direct a new 5th Transformers movie for Paramount.
That is the least like fun news. You set that up like it was going to be a huge announcement.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't like trying to set it up like a good thing. I was just saying, holy poop.
Even it's not even really that. I mean, it's a bad thing because who cares about the Transformers? But it's just mostly irrelevant.
Okay, that is hurtful and not true.
No. I mean, now, like the first Transformers were pretty good, and the animated series. Like, I loved those Transformers.
There are much better movies than any of the ones you just named.
Oh, so you don't like the Transformers?
I don't like the Michael Bay ones.
Oh, any of them? Like with Shia LaBeouf? Were there any other movies other than Michael?
There was the Bumblebee movie with Haley Steinfeld. There was the...
I thought that was the same... Mm-mm. It's not the same universe?
No. That's why they actually look like Transformers in that movie. And then there was another one, too, that was kind of like a sequel to that one. I can't think of what that one was. I just like the ones where they actually look like their cartoon counterparts. Like the Michael Bay ones, I guess I'll give the first one the credit that it was the first one to do it live action, and for that, I guess it's pretty iconic. But as those went on, they just started to all look like giant hunks of gray metal. Like none of them looked unique or like their actual counterparts from the animated show. They didn't have any color to them. Everything was washed out. It just, I didn't like their design. It was just a bunch of metal with spinning parts and things. And it looked intricate, but it didn't look good.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But
yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Cool
Yeah,
little
well,
thing
it
to come
wasn't.
back from.
I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Do you want to know something that is interesting, though?
Yeah.
Remember I told you I had some movie news?
That is true. You did. Tell me.
I am going to be in a movie. No, I'm just kidding. So, you're familiar with Nate Bargatze.
Yes.
Great comedian.
Yes.
Love him. Anyone who has paid any attention to Nate Bargatze knows this. It's not really news at this point, but we haven't ever talked about it on this podcast. He's filming his first movie right now, and Mandy Moore is playing his wife. And
I know that name.
she was the movie A Walk to Remember?
Mm-hmm.
She was the girl in that one.
Okay.
That's like probably her most famous movie. And she's like a country singer, I think. I think she sings country. I don't know. She was some kind of singer. She's been in a lot of stuff though. I just can't.
So is this just like a movie about him, or
Yeah, I think he actually
he's playing
plays
a character?
himself.
Oh, okay.
But his Mandy Moore is obviously acting as his wife.
Right,
And he's
right.
got 3 daughters when in real life he only has
got
one.
Yeah.
But it's called The Breadwinner, and it's looking pretty funny. I'm really excited because he talks on his podcast about how he wants to start making a lot of movies and like all different kinds of entertainment, not just movies, where it's like not necessarily family movies, but like you could bring your family to it. And like that's his whole like thing. It's going to be fun and it's funny, and I'm really excited. He had some of his cast on this podcast a couple episodes ago.
Okay.
And it just seems like it's going to be, that's one I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait to see the trailers for that because I think it's going to be good.
Do we have like a rough release window?
Release window.
Are we looking at like next year? Or are we looking at like?
I think it's going to be next year.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Well, then, yeah, you'll probably start to see trailers either late this year or like early next year.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's exciting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew he put out a book not long ago. Big Dumb Eyes.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it, but I see a poster for it at Books A Million every time I go. But that's cool. Good for him. I think he would do well. Especially, I don't know how much control he'll have it, but if they're going to let him just kind of riff, I think he'd be great in a movie setting.
From what it sounded like on the podcast, that's kind of what's happening.
Okay, yeah,
he's got a lot of control.
That'll be great then. I think.
So, do you know Dusty Slay at all?
I feel like I recognize that name.
He's really funny. The Nate Land podcast is Nate Bargatze, although lately he hasn't been on a lot because he's been doing the movie. But Nate Bargatze, Aaron Weber, Brian Bates, and Dusty Slay. They're all comedians who do the podcast together. Mm-hmm. All of them are in a scene in the movie.
Oh man!
And so if you're a fan of the Nate Land podcast at all, then
that'll be a fun little wink.
Yeah, like they talked about that on the last episode, and it was like, oh man, like just hearing they couldn't say anything, but what they were saying, I was like, this is probably gonna be really funny.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. I know you're excited. I know he's like one of your faves, so I know that's gonna be a anticipated one for you. I would definitely want to review that one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, congratulations, Nate. Not that you're listening to this, but that's awesome.
Like we're like best buddies with
him.
I mean,
like,
dude,
didn't you meet him?
I remember when. No, I never met him.
I thought when you were doing like your stand-up stuff in Tennessee.
Oh no. Aaron Weber, who is on the podcast with him, he sometimes goes to the place where they do open mic comedy. Gotcha. And I saw him. I was too scared to introduce myself.
That actually shocks me. Because like I thought between the two of us, I would be like the more hesitant one. But like one time, this was like 2 years ago, my whole family, we went out to BJ's, like a big bar restaurant in Harbison. And I saw Spencer Rattler leaving the restaurant with his girlfriend, and I got up from the table and ran through the restaurant. And when I got outside, as soon as I got outside and yelled his name, I realized I had not planned anything to say. So I was just like, I don't want to bother you, but I'm a huge fan, man. I'm looking forward to this season. And then he dapped me up, and my dad actually came like,
oh, okay.
And My dad actually came out behind me.
I was like, he gave you drugs?
Yeah, man. I kick myself because my dad came out behind me and I could have just pulled my phone out and gotten a picture with him, which would have been really cool. A now NFL quarterback that I saw right here, like in town. It would have been really cool, but my dad talked to him for a minute and I talked to him and then they left in his Tesla that he owned at the same time that he owned his like Beamer Cadillac. Oh man, those kids, man, they are living good.
That's true.
But yeah, that was really cool. So like we saw him, and then I also saw DeCarrion Joyner one night at Texas Roadhouse.
Oh wow.
And him we didn't talk to because they were just sitting down as we were leaving, and they were kind of in the middle of talking to their waiter, and I didn't want to interrupt, but I tried to like make eye contact and wave like I'm the one Spencer Rattler met. I'm sure he talked about me.
Yeah, I'm sure he did too.
But this freaking weirdo chased me out of the restaurant.
They're just in their Tesla laughing. That kid is weird.
We're rich.
They pull out cigars. They have just a monocle.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a story. Well, someone I know has a story that I'm going to relay. That's already been told on another podcast, but it's weird because it's related to what you were talking about, and it's related to Nate Bargatze, and it's related to Batman. So,
oh my gosh.
This is a screen-woven multiverse intersection right here.
That. We're going to hear about Bargatman.
Bargatman. That should be his next film. That would be hilarious. Bargatman. Dusty Slay, who's one of the comedians on the podcast, he told this story on his podcast recently where he was at the Atlanta airport with Brian Bates, and Dusty's like, he's famous, but he's not like super famous. Like most
he's not
people,
Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
He's like a B
or
C
Nate
lister.
Bargatze.
Well, right. Yeah.
So he's like, but he's famous. I mean, he's very successful, and I love his stuff. But he's standing with Brian Bates, and he's like sees a famous person. He's like, I can't put it, and then he turns or something, and he goes, oh, that's Christian Bale. So he tells Brian, he's like, that's Christian Bale. And he's like, I don't want to bother him because he's with his family. So he's like me, I guess. I'm the same way. I'm just like, they get that stuff all the time. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, I won't bother him. So he's going to get his luggage, and then he sees someone comes around, and it's Christian Bale. And he says, Dusty, I'm a huge fan of yours.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
And he said, can I get a picture with you? So they got a picture together.
Oh my gosh, that had to make him feel good.
Oh
dude.
Yeah, he was talking about it. I've seen like 6 videos that he's already posted about it.
Oh man,
that excites me because I'm a Dusty fan.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. And Christian Bale, now he's famous.
Exactly.
That's got to feel good.
Yeah,
man. One day we'll be there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Daniel, look, it's Tom Cruise from the Mission Impossible franchise that you love. And you're like, I don't want to bother him. You know, he's with his family of vampires that then none of them age. And then like we'll see someone coming around the corner of our vision, and it'll be the airport security telling us to come get a full body check because we set the alarms off.
I could tell you were making that up as you were going. I thought you were going to say it's going to be Tom Cruise, and you'd be like, can you move out of the way? That's my bag.
Can you please get out of the way? He'll run over.
Yeah. He never walks.
He never walks. He only runs. His hair like flapping in the wind. No, but that's really cool. That's really cool.
And it's funny because we were just talking about Batman, and then we were talking about the breadwinner, and then we were talking about meeting celebrities.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say something about another athlete, and that was going to make me happy.
No.
I'm
not in the business of making you happy. In fact, just the opposite.
I'm here to make you cry.
Oh, that reminds me. That was a Stranger Than Fiction quote. You haven't seen Stranger Than Fiction. I keep forgetting this.
No.
That should be the next movie we watch. I want you to see it so bad. It is such a good movie. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, I think. Okay. Definitely top 10, maybe a top 5.
Dang, it's that good?
It's so good. I love Stranger Than Fiction. One of the most underrated, under-discussed films.
Okay.
I'll put it to you this way. Sing Street is a little bit above it. So that's kind of where it is for me.
Okay. That quelled a little bit of the hype for me.
Oh, really? Because you didn't like Sing Street that much?
No, I liked it a lot, but I mean, I would not put Sing Street even close to my top 5 movies of
top
all
10
time.
though? You know what? Now that you say that, maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't have. I only said that because that's like a semi-recent thing we discussed, so there was still a little hype.
I was gonna say, don't get me wrong. We were hyped. Like, I think you had seen it, and it was kind of like an unheard of gem, and like it really hyped you up about that. And when I watched it, I ended up really loving it. So we were both really hype about it.
Yeah.
But like, as far as if I had to sit down and rank movies, I don't think Sing Street's touching my top 10.
That's fair. Probably me not. I think what I was thinking
me not.
I don't know why I said it that way.
I knew what you meant, but it was just funny.
I didn't even catch that I said that until you. That's funny. Probably me not. That's going to be my new catchphrase.
Oh, boy.
Probably me not. I probably would have the same. I think what I was thinking is like out of the movies that are hidden gems that most people don't really talk about, like out of those movies, it's probably one of my top 5.
That's fair. As far as ones that like I'd never heard of and then someone told me to watch, off the top of my head, that would have to be top 5. It would. It definitely would be top 10, even if I sat and thought about it. But it probably is top 5. It was really, really good.
Yeah, that's kind of where I think Stranger Than Fiction is like.
That's fair.
It's one of the like I don't know why it was so like. There's a lot of people that have never heard of that movie. And I don't know why. It's a fantastic film. I
feel like I've heard of it, but I definitely don't know. I couldn't tell you a single person in it or
Will Ferrell.
Even a single thing about what it's about. So I can't really say I know much about it.
Have I told you what it's about?
Maybe.
Okay. I'll tell you what the trailer would portray. But it's Will Ferrell. It's I forget her name. She's the English lady. Oh, what else has she been in? She's been in a lot of stuff. I can't think of anything she's been in though.
I'll look up the cast. You just tell me about
Dustin Hoffman.
Tell me about the plot, like as a trailer would do.
Okay, Will Ferrell, Dustin Hoffman, Tony Hale. Those are the only 3 that I know for sure. But basically, the English lady is an author, and Will Ferrell plays a guy named Harold Crick. And one day he hears the author narrating in his head what he's doing. And he realizes that he is a character in her book.
Oh.
And so she's writing, and everything she's writing is accurate. So, and he like hears her narrating what he's doing, and he's like, what? And so he thinks he's going crazy, but he ends up trying to find the author.
That's cool.
It's super cool. And it's hilarious. It's a dramedy. It's like my favorite genre.
I'm assuming you're talking about Emma Thompson.
Yes.
Who plays Karen Eiffel?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Maggie Gyllenhaal is also in this.
Oh, yeah, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Who was the second Rachel in the Dark Knight trilogy after they replaced the first one. But yeah, that's cool. 06, so kind of old, but not like an oldie.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
Man, going on 20 years old. Can you believe movies that came out when we were in like middle school and high school are like going on 20 years old? It's crazy.
I can't. Crazy. Yeah, and I haven't even done anything with my life.
Well, I mean, we got this podcast.
Yeah, like I haven't done anything with my life.
You must not have heard me.
No, I heard you.
But no one else is.
Yeah. That's part of the problem is I'm the only one that's hearing both of us.
Oh man. But no, that is cool as far as the Nate movie goes, and then the Bale story. That's just crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
So do you want to transition from there? Or did you have any other? Was that the only movie news you had? Or
I think so. That's the only movie news.
Okay, only that's it in the whole world.
Probably me not.
Probably me not.
Why did it become Indian all of a sudden?
I don't know. You did that. I'm just following you.
No, you did it when you quoted me. You just,
I was just doing it. You
probably me not.
You kind of stumbled, so I was like, that sounds more alien than anything. Probably me not.
It's just gonna progressively change.
Yeah, throughout the course of history, of course. So about a month ago, Culture Crave, the Twitter account Culture Crave, posted this image, and I thought it was really, really interesting. And I was just going to come in here and talk to you about it, but then I was like, it would be really cool to see how many you could. I mean, obviously, these would all be guesses. I'm well aware. But it would be cool to see how many you could get right before you're like, okay, I just don't know, and I would tell you the rest. But this is the highest grossing film franchises ever.
So like the entire franchise as a whole.
Right. So
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and give you a hint before you even get started, because what would be like one of your obvious top guesses?
Well, it's hard because, like, for instance, Titanic isn't considered a franchise, right?
Well, right. That's a movie. Like everything.
So these are specifically movies that have had multiple movies.
I was going to say every single thing on here has had multiple
Okay.
movies.
Obviously Marvel.
Okay, so we're going to start with MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is number 1.
Yeah.
But, caveat, there are other Marvel things on here. So the MCU is number 1.
Okay.
But there are other Marvel things on here. So keep that in mind.
Interesting.
So what else you got? So that's number 1 at $31.93 billion.
Wow. Lord of the Rings has to be on there.
Lord of the Rings, the Middle-earth
Yeah.
franchise, is at number 11 at $5.98 billion.
What's the how many are on this
There
list?
are 18.
18. Jeez. All right. Okay. This is kind of fun, actually. Man.
So fun fact.
Other Marvel things. I can't think of that.
So while you're deliberating,
Godfather. Godfather has to be one.
No.
Wow.
Which actually kind of shocks me. But I'm actually glad.
Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible franchise is number 16 at $4.35 billion. Which actually
Harry
is
Potter.
probably higher now because of the new movie.
Harry Potter.
The Wizarding World is at number 4
Okay,
with
that doesn't shock me.
$9.66 billion.
MCU, the reason it's number 1, not only is it super popular, but they just have a gajillion movies in there. I mean,
Well, they do, but think about if you took out all the highest grossing ones, all the Avengers, the Spider-Man MCU movies, honestly, it's probably not even close to what it is as a whole. Because a lot of those movies grossed $1 billion or more on their own.
Interesting. I guess I would count like the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans as part of the MCU now.
They are not.
Okay, well then one of those has to be in there. Probably.
Spider-Man as a IP franchise is at number 2.
So that includes Homecoming and
Well, that's MCU.
oh, see, okay.
So that's what I'm saying. So, and there's still more, by the way. But anyway, listen to this gap. So MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, number 1 at $31.93 billion. Number 2 on the list is Spider-Man, which is arguably one of the biggest characters of all time. $11.15 billion.
My
A
gosh.
$20 billion drop from 1 to 2.
Billions and billions.
Billions and billions. And I think the biggest drop on this list, because after that, it's kind of incremental.
Wow, that's crazy.
1 to 2. You would have to make $20 billion more in Spider-Man stuff that's not related to the MCU to ever get close.
Having said that, though, that really shows how much people love Spider-Man. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that
That's a good point.
just 5 movies, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, compared to like
Well,
30 plus
well,
movies.
7.
Oh, okay. So this is at a certain time.
Well, 7 because you got
Oh.
the Into the Spider-Verse movies.
Oh,
And actually
I
it
see, okay.
might even count like Venom, Craven, Morbius.
Okay.
Which,
okay.
not that those probably did much to help it, but the Into the Spider-Verse movies probably helped a good bit too. So you got the 3 Tobys, the 2 Andrews, the 2 animated, and then I'm going to assume you could go ahead and throw in the villain stuff that Sony did. All of those together probably didn't even make $500 million for this, but definitely the Andrew, Tobey, and animated ones. Yeah, just those 3 sets of movies alone have it at number 2 on the list. That is impressive.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other movie franchises. So we've got 1 and 2 and 4. Harry Potter was 4, right?
Yeah, the Wizarding World's number 4. So you're missing number 3 out of the top 4.
Twilight?
Twilight is on the list. It is number 18, the last one at $3.36 billion.
Okay, I'm thinking. My guess is it's something like Twilight, where it's some kind of girly. Oh, is it The Hunger Games? No, that can't be. That's not enough movies. It's probably not even on the list.
Hunger Games is not on the list.
Yeah.
At least not on this list. It might be like right after Twilight. I don't know. But these are only the top 18. So.
Yeah. 18 is such a weird number to pick. Why did they do top 20?
I don't know. That is a good point.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do 18, just give us 2 more.
Yeah. Man, I feel like I should know. I feel like you're gonna tell me.
You're gonna kick yourself if you ask me to tell you.
Pixar?
Pixar is not. It's not really a franchise. That's a company.
Toy Story?
No, that's not on the list.
I'm trying to think of movies that have Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious is on the list at number 7. It is $7.33 billion.
John Wick?
Not on the list.
Wow. I feel like I should know this.
You are going, especially you of all people, you're going to kick yourself.
Oh, that should tell me something. I've already guessed Mission Impossible and Lord of the Rings. Those are my favorite movie.
Well, I wouldn't say this is one of your favorite, but it's something you've been invested in at some point.
What can it be? All right, I give up.
There's a couple on here that I think you won't guess at all. But we'll get to those as we narrow it down because there's still some on here that are gimmies. Like this one. Are you sure you don't want to guess at number 3?
Okay, just give me a second again.
Do you want me to give you a hint?
I just can't think of other movies right now is the only thing.
Do you want me to give you a hint?
No.
Okay.
Let me Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean is on the list. It's number 15 at $4.52 billion.
Wow, that's lower than I thought. Oh. All right, just tell me.
Can I give you a hint?
Okay, sure.
First hint, and these will get, I got a couple. They'll get easier to guess. First hint, it's more than just movies. It has shows too. And they've been currently putting out both.
Oh, Karate Kid.
No.
Oh.
Not shows. It's had multiple shows, series, both animated and not. It's got at least 9 movies, but technically it's got...
This is the 10, third one?
This is number 3. It's got 9 core movies and then like probably 4 or 5 spinoffs at this point, and then a bunch of shows also.
Is it the DC Batman? The DC universe?
Batman is on the list at number 9 at $7.05 billion, and the DC Extended Universe
Avatar,
is also on the list at number 8, $7.2 billion. Avatar: The Last Airbender is not on the list.
Womp. Do you want to hear something crazy? I heard a friend at church yesterday it was 2 days ago, told me he thought that Korra was better than Avatar: The Last Airbender.
You said this is a friend?
Not anymore. He prefaced this. He's like, look, I know I'm in the minority. I said, it's worse than that.
You don't exist. You're dead to me.
Oh, dude. I've never heard a take that actually made me like have an emotional reaction like that.
We should have him on.
We should, yeah.
So real quick, let's just give you a minute to breathe.
Okay.
So you've listed
9 movies.
So you've listed, it's actually more than 9. It's 9 core movies.
Yeah.
So at number 1, you've got Marvel Cinematic Universe. You got that one. Number 2, Spider-Man. You got that one. 3, we're working on. 4, The Wizarding World. You got that one. 5, you haven't gotten. 6, you haven't gotten. 7 was Fast and Furious. 8 was the DC Universe. 9 was Batman. Okay. 10, you haven't gotten. Middle Earth was 11. You got that one. 12, you haven't gotten. 13, you haven't gotten. 14, you haven't gotten.
Game of Thrones?
No, not on the list. 15, you haven't. Or 15 was Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I just gave away number 10.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
15 you got, and now number 10 you got. You got 16 was Mission Impossible. You have not gotten 17, and 18 you got was Twilight. So there's still a handful on here you haven't gotten. You're welcome for Jurassic Park. Man, that was the best hint I could have given you.
Let me give you a hint. Here's the list. Dude, I know I'm going to kick myself, but I just can't think of other movie franchises. Pirates of the Caribbean. How about this? Is it Disney?
Now.
It's got to be Marvel then. It's not Marvel? What else has Disney bought? Star Wars. Oh my gosh. Dude.
So you now have the top 4.
Okay.
5 and 6, I'll give you a hint. One of them is Marvel related.
Batman. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, Batman is on the You already got that one.
Yeah. Marvel related.
It's about to be a lot more Marvel related.
Fantastic Four?
No, but you're thinking on the right track.
Doctor Doom?
No. Doctor Doom is not a franchise. This one has
Johnny Torch?
Yeah.
Johnny Torch.
That sounds like a Disney Channel original movie. Johnny Torch back on board.
Yeah. Dude, do you think they'll bring Ben 10 into the Marvel multiverse?
I hope. So this one has, it's one of the longest running Marvel things as far as like movies go. It reaches back to the earliest days of good live action superhero movies.
I don't know. Other than Spider-Man, I have no idea.
So around that time, it actually predates Spider-Man 1. Tobey Maguire's.
As far as a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was even the 1970-something Spider-Man.
Well, I said good. We're talking like ones that we still go back and watch.
It was really popular when it came out in the 70s.
Yeah, but no one goes back to watch
Sure.
These are ones that came out, first of all, in our lifetime.
Okay.
And second of all, people still go back and watch them and like, wow, those hold up really good by today's standards.
Before the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
Yep.
Blade?
That is a good guess, but no. That one's not on the list. But it was around that. It was after Blade. Think after Blade, but before Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was the first. That's the core first superhero movie memory I have as a child. I don't, and I wasn't really into superheroes other than Spider-Man when I was young. So I don't know.
Well, then that explains. So I'll give you this one, and then we'll see if you can get number 5. But number 6 is the X-Men.
Oh,
yep,
dude, I should have guessed that.
X-Men, the first one came out in I think 99.
I feel so dumb. I should have guessed that. Oh well.
So number 5. Let's see if you can get number 5. I'll give you this. It's not related to it, so hear me careful. It's not related to Mission Impossible, but I would say it's Mission Impossible adjacent.
Has it had a lot of movies?
Yes. It way predates Mission Impossible.
James Bond.
007 franchise at number 5 at $7.84 billion.
Oh, yeah.
So you now have 1 through
6.
8, 9, 10, 11, all the way down to 11.
Oh,
You're only missing number 12, 13, 14, and 17. So you've got 4 more left, I think.
Are these things that I should know?
I will say 12 is one of the ones I originally thought would be pretty hard for you to guess, but then again, I didn't think you would get Pirates of the Caribbean. So, but I think 12 is going to be hard. 13.
I know all of these franchises?
Oh,
though.
yeah. I mean, they're all,
okay.
I mean, you've heard of all of them, if not seen something in just about all of these.
Star Wars. No, I'm just kidding. I can't believe I just didn't think of Star Wars.
I knew one of the top 3. I knew it wasn't going to be the MCU, but I figured, honestly, I didn't think you'd get Wizarding World because you never think Harry Potter. So I didn't think you'd get that one.
Yeah, but I know that it's massive, though.
Yeah, but I just didn't think your mind would go there, at least as quickly as you got it. Maybe at this point in it, I could have seen you maybe be like, oh, right, that thing I hate. But it was like number 2 or 3 that you got.
That thing all good people hate. That and Korra. I'm just kidding.
Oh, my gosh.
How can you like Korra? Oh man, dude, I don't know.
So let me give you a hint.
Yes.
So we'll start at the first one you're missing, which is 12. It is an animated only.
I never heard of it.
Wow.
Oh, I'm such an idiot. I thought you were legitimately saying 12 is the name of the franchise. Like the movie 9. Have you ever seen that movie? The movie sucks, but
12 on the list
yeah,
is a franchise that is strictly animated, strictly kids based. There have been multiple movies, 3 original movies.
SpongeBob?
No. Not a bad guess. 3 original movies kind of kicked it off, and then it's had a few spin-offs.
Jimmy Neutron.
No.
No, that was just one movie. 3 movies kicked it off.
And then it's had some spin-offs.
That sounds like a lightsaber.
If you want a hint, let me know. I got a couple ready.
Is it Nickelodeon? Cartoon Network? Disney?
No. None of those.
None of those? Warner Bros?
Nope.
I have zero idea. Fishing.
I'm talking company logo here.
DreamWorks.
Yes.
Shrek?
Shrek is it's 17
Wow. Okay.
at 4.02 billion.
How to Train Your Dragon?
No, but you are now on the right. That stick DreamWorks, which I guess Shrek is also, but
yeah, Shrek is DreamWorks.
I can't believe How to Train Your Dragon isn't on. I wonder if it is now that it had the live action movie.
I'm trying to think of what had. So, what network picked up the shows?
No. This is. I don't know that this has shows.
Oh, I thought you were saying this.
When I said spin-offs, I mean other movies, but they're all animated.
Okay, but 3 of them kicked it off.
It's an original trilogy, and then it's had, I think, 1 or 2 spin-offs.
Okay, that makes sense. DreamWorks, dude, I don't know. It's gonna be one of those where you tell me and I know it, but I just
let me give you a hint.
Okay,
Steve Carell.
Oh, Despicable Me. Okay, yeah.
Number 12, 5.62 billion. So then you got Pirates and you got. Okay, so yeah, you're only missing number 13.
Despicable You?
That's it.
Tell me the network.
I think this one technically is Paramount / Nickelodeon, but I think more Paramount. That's it.
Paramount. Is it animated?
There have been animated ones.
Was it first animated? How old?
Man, that's tricky. Do you mean in movie form?
Yeah.
Then no.
Paramount. Live action movie. The Rugrats.
I wish.
I have no idea. You're gonna have to just.
We were just talking about it.
No way. What?
Like today on this episode.
Like before the trivia started?
Yeah. Because if it had been after, I would have told you. Oh yeah, that's on the list.
Was it around the time we were talking about Rugrats?
No. It was after. It was like we were just talking about it before we switched to this.
How do I not remember this?
Probably because it was underwhelming.
I don't know, man.
There was some breaking news.
Oh my gosh. Dang it. I can't. Transformers.
Yep.
There you go.
At number 13. Do you want to guess how much that one is?
3 billion.
You were closer with what you were about to say. 5.42 billion. So that is the top 18 grossing franchises.
How about that? That was
like
gross.
This year. I get it. Was that fun? Like for me, that was fun. I don't know if for you it was.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
I almost wish you had found it because I feel like I would have had more fun squirming under that pressure. I feel like you were kind of like, I'm kind of ready for this to be over. I'm not. I don't know. I don't.
Maybe next time I'll be the one because I can just look up a list and have you guess.
Well, that's true.
So we'll do that next time. But we're pretty much out of time at this point.
You want to talk about something else for like a long time?
All right, Chris.
Well, that's all I got.
I
think next time we meet up will be for
the Superman review. I think.
What's today? I don't know dates. No, it won't be because the next Friday is July 4th, which I can meet up. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, we can do July 4th.
But then the week after that is the Superman.
You know what we should do? We should do a patriotic themed movies.
Ooh.
The Patriot. Have you seen The Patriot?
No.
You've never seen The Patriot
No.
with Mel Gibson?
No.
That's what we're doing. July 4th. You're watching The Patriot.
I think we should do a battle, like a good old Revolutionary War style battle.
Flintlock duel.
Yeah, where you pick a America movie, I pick an American movie, and we watch them in preparation.
It has to be one that I can't see. I can't have seen though.
Independence Day?
That's not an American. Oh, come on.
Yes, it is.
That does not
That came
count.
out on July 4th. That is as American as it gets.
No.
Yes,
an
man.
alien invasion sci-fi movie. I'm talking about a movie that
But it's
is
about
like
them invading America, man. Like, we're fighting for our independence on this day.
The Patriot is literally a historical fiction based off of Francis Marion, Andrew something, I forget Andrew's name, and Thomas Sumter, and then a bad guy who is named Bannister Tarleton. Bannister Tarleton, I think. And it's about, like, it's historical fiction, so they took some creative liberties. But a lot of the events actually did happen. They just happened a little differently. It's an actual historical... Like,
I guarantee you, if you look up, like, if you Google list of, like, top 5 or 10 American movies, like movies about America, Independence Day would be in the top 5.
all right, after this, we have to get off, but I want to look this up now. Top 5 patriotic movies.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it.
Patriotic movies. All right, if my phone would just load here. None of these. Saving Private Ryan. Forrest Gump?
Nah.
There's nothing patriotic about Saving Private Ryan I could see, but that's an overrated movie in my opinion. I never was a huge fan of that movie. All right, this one says the 25 most. There's The Right Stuff, Gettysburg, Yankee Doodle Dandy, G.I. Jane, Superman 2. Seabiscuit? How is Seabiscuit patriotic?
I've never seen it. I don't know.
Okay, this is getting dumb. Major Payne. No, that wasn't a list, but have you seen Major Payne?
No.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is a funny movie. You should watch Major Payne.
All right, if you refuse Independence Day, I'll have to figure out another one, but it'll probably be less patriotic than Independence Day.
Can you please watch The Patriot?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna each pick one and watch them, and then talk about which one was better.
Okay, all right, it's The Patriot, but well, that's one of my all-time favorite movies. I mean, even just like as writing goes, it is so good. There's one particular moment where everyone cries. Everyone. If you don't cry, you're not human.
I was gonna say, I bet you money I won't.
You might not. You might, because of your season in life right now. I think you might, but you might not.
I probably won't.
I don't actually ever like cry. Like, I don't boo-hoo, but I get teary-eyed. I
get choked up at things, but it's rare that I cry.
It's like
at movies.
Even aside from the patriotic thing, which I love about it, it's just such a well-written movie. The characters are so good.
Okay.
So good. One of the best villains in history, too. In cinematic history.
You may end up having to watch Independence Day, because I'm racking my brain to think of another one, and I cannot think of one. But we'll see. I'll think hard. Before I solidify that, let me think.
I've seen Independence Day, by the way.
You have?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's pretty good. It's a good sci-fi flick. I wouldn't call it American.
Maybe that would be a good experiment. I just watch both movies and talk about which one, because I haven't seen either one.
You haven't seen Independence?
This was a great experience all around, honestly.
You just spent forever arguing with me about how patriotic it is.
Because I know people talk. I mean, it's called Independence Day. It was released on July 4th. I know it's a huge deal. Like, it's it's like a rah-rah America film.
I wouldn't call it. I mean, it's an iconic American film, kind of like Rocky. You know, like when you think solid American films.
I get what you mean by that, but what I'm saying is, like, this one, I haven't seen it, so I'm not saying this is true, but I'm saying typically gets thrown in the conversation of like rah rah USA, because it's like the whole movie supposedly, I guess, takes place in America and they're fighting off an alien invasion.
Okay, I mean, I'll give you that. Maybe
it's like the country coming together.
You know what a good patriotic movie is actually?
What?
Rocky IV. It's a very good patriotic movie.
But I can't just jump into Rocky IV without seeing Rockies 1, 2, and 3.
Are you trying to tell me that you have never seen the Rocky movies?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I quit. All right, that's it for today, folks.
Before Daniel has a heart attack, we're going to go ahead and call that. Till next time.
Till next time, we love you.
But not me.